Microphone check. 1 2 1 2. Can I get a mic check?
3 4 3 4.
3 4 3 4. Oh, this music's got me hype right now.
Yeah.
So, it's your boy Jake Asai. How are you guys doing? This is Sam Works.
Yes, sir.
Sam Works. Ooh, my music just took a hit. Ooh, I hate that for me. This is the Everyday Joe Show. I think that's the name of this show. I'm not sure what the official name's gonna be, but yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you what the show's about before we start. I promise.
Yeah, go for
But
it.
yeah, Sam Works, Jake Asai, and this is the Everyday Joe Show. I forgot how long the build-up is on this song. I'm gonna turn it down. So yeah, man. I'll give you a quick technical rundown. Anytime you say something of substance or importance, look at the lens. Otherwise, you're more than good to just look at me and talk. We're good. This is the Everyday Joe Show, where we bring on people that maybe don't usually get a platform, but they have a story that deserves a platform. And our last episode that I did, I don't know sequentially when it'll come out, but it was a guy who he went to school with a plan A, which was to, work in law enforcement or something like that. And he fell into starting his own business, modifying cars and stuff like that. And I ended up having him mod my car. And
The Tesla?
The Tesla, yeah. He worked on my Tesla, customized it, did some things to it. I don't know if you saw, I have like peach calipers on it and stuff.
Nah, I didn't check it out too much.
Yeah, he did all that for me, and I was like, man, like, how did you get here? How did you get to this point?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? Don't even tell me. Let's record it and find
you
out.
on the show.
And same thing happened with you, man. So, give people a quick little rundown on who you are exactly.
Yeah, so again, mine is Sam Works. I try to live up to my last name, WORKS. And
That's your actual last name?
that is my actual last name.
That is insanity. You cannot be lazy.
Bro, you can't. You got you got to live up to it, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's rough. I would never want that last name.
Hey, I mean, it's cool, but you get the motivation to it. But
It's a very dope last name, for real.
yeah,
That's dope.
it really is. I take pride in it. Anywho, yeah, so when I met Jake Asai, who was actually a guest on my show called Whatever Works, it's every Sunday night at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's on a radio station, 106.5 FM. And
FM radio.
yeah, FM and AM, so it reaches basically from where we're at, the IE, all the way down to, it almost reaches Catalina. It goes off into the ocean,
Really?
but then it breaks off there, you know what I
Okay.
mean? So... it was a crazy story. It was a crazy build-up, but I had him on my show because my show is called Whatever Works, and literally what we do is we take a new guest every week, every Sunday, and we talk about whatever works. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Yeah.
each person has a different story, kind
Yeah.
of like this podcast,
Yeah.
kind of like this show.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best way to get be diverse and reach out to everybody in the community, except for just like one group of people. You know what I mean? Because everyone has a voice, and
Right.
I can't say everyone should be heard.
Factual. Very factual. Not everyone deserves a platform.
Yeah.
And that even counts people who have them.
Yeah.
Just because you have a platform doesn't mean you should.
Exactly.
That's why social media is so dangerous.
It is.
Because it gives everyone some form of a platform. So
It's a little too open,
yeah,
but
it gives people a sense of importance they shouldn't have.
yeah.
But
And then they start saying stuff they shouldn't say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, who really gets to dictate like what should you say and what you shouldn't say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess there's a community for everybody.
yeah,
But yeah. So that's what I do as like my main job.
Stop there. I don't want to hear about anything else yet. Because I'm gonna tell the story of why you're here.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna start asking you questions because I overheard some of your story previously, and it's why you're here. It's so interesting to me.
Right.
So on the surface level, I meet you, and you're a guy who does radio, and you're pretty good at your job.
thank you.
You have talent. You're a very good host. I've been interviewed a lot of times, and I've watched people interview others a lot of times. And the reason I interview people is because so many people suck at it, and I hate that so many special people don't get asked the right questions. So that's why I do this here. And like for me, this is all about just making sure that day someone reaches out to you, you can go, oh man, just click this link and they watch this, and
Right.
you don't have to say a word after that, But I came to your show because my boy Justin, who has a crazy story. He's from Baltimore now. He lives in the IE. He came to you to do an interview, and I had my thoughts about how his interview could possibly go and how bad it could potentially be if the wrong person's interviewing him.
Right.
And you guys freaking knocked it out the park. It was an amazing episode. And it made me happy for Justin because I know how good his story is.
Yeah.
And it made me happy for you guys because I was like, these guys are doing this every week? Oh, like, they got it. They got it figured out. And I overheard you saying, you didn't go to school for radio. You weren't trained in radio. No. You weren't even in the back of your mind going, I'm going to do radio.
Nah.
And you're on the radio, FM, AM. You guys are backed by
NBC.
NBC.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I know.
Come on, man. That's massive.
It is. It's pretty good.
So let's put something for the record, pun intended. I went to school and I took radio programs. So I was a part of KVCR. I was a part of KVCR. So I did the television studio, the radio station, and film. I went to school for it.
Yeah.
Never had an opportunity to do real separated radio from that school campus. And so I never wanted to do radio personally, but I've always loved it, and it's pretty interesting. How does someone like you transition from whatever you were doing? How do you fall into being a radio host on FM radio, your own hour special?
I don't know the exact quote, but you hire for attitude and you train for not train for success, but not even education. I forgot what the word was, but he hired me because of my work ethic and my personality.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can't hire a dickhead and then expect him to be a nice guy at the end and listen to you, right?
Yeah.
So he hired me with no background, knowing that I'm an easy learner, and then he's able to teach me.
This reminds me of my 9 to 5, which I'll save for a different time when I tell my story. But I hire people, and I can tell you right now, I pick guys like you who have warmth, sociability, understand people, because the black and white stuff, the wrench turning, the fundamental work, you can teach it to anyone.
Yeah.
But you can't teach warmth and social skills. You can't just teach that to anyone.
Right.
It's something that some people just have. There's a Spanish term. I don't know how to say in Spanish anymore. I forgot. But it's called having light blood. And it's people who they radiate light to other people and make people like them very naturally. You have that.
Yeah.
And I think that guy saw it in you for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember the word. It was you hire for... I don't even remember what first thing I said. I'm drinking too much tequila right now.
Hey.
But you train for skill. Right?
Yeah.
You hire personality, you train for skill.
There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great saying.
Yeah. So, I was pretty shocked myself when he gave me that opportunity. But, I mean, if you want me to start the story now?
Yeah. Go for it, man. Tell me everything.
So, let me backtrack.
Okay.
Years and years.
Take us to day one.
Day one, bro. I remember I was in 5th grade.
Okay. Jeez, day one.
It's a long story, dog.
Okay,
no, I'm just kidding.
I didn't know that part.
No, because it's gonna jump because of manifestation and all this stuff that we can talk about. When I was in 5th grade, I was in the playground, bro, and I remember telling myself, I was like, man, if I can give anyone who needs it 15 minutes of fame, I would.
Yeah.
Because even back then, I was a little pretty boy running around, and I got everything that I wanted just because of how nice I was and how good looking I was. So I was I want to return the favor to everybody.
Yeah.
Fast forward, now I'm giving everyone an hour that they need instead of 15 minutes. But that's something that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
Didn't think it was gonna be on radio though.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought I was gonna be some some actor,
Yeah.
some model, something like that, just to get people on. But I was working at Corky's in Ukaipa on the Bottom Boulevard.
Yep.
And the owner of the radio station, it's 92.5 KQLH. He plays 50s, 60s, 70s, music like that.
Yeah.
He would come in, and when you go to the restaurant, they seat you accordingly, right? So every server has a certain amount of people, so no one's overran this side or this side. So, but for whatever reason, every time he came in, he would sit in my section.
Okay.
And it wasn't until later on he started requesting me. But the first 4 times they'd be like, "Oh, okay, you're here. We'll put you over here," and then he was just in my section,
Yeah.
And so I'm smiling, I'm talking to him, we're chit chatting. I got some time, so we're talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so what do you do? Just chopping it up. And he's like, oh, I own a radio station. I was like, oh yeah? What radio station? He goes, 92.5. I was like, dude, no way. I was like, I listen to your shit. He's like, no, you don't. I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, no, you don't. You're too young. Like, how old are you? I was like, oh, I'm like fucking 18 at the time, whatever. And he's like, what do I play? I was like, you play like Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, whoop de whoop, la di da.
Yeah.
And he was like, damn, he really does listen to my radio station.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And as like an 18-year-old at that time, like, I was like 19, 20. That's kind of rare.
Yeah.
For like people that young to listen to that old music. And so I have a medical condition. I got blood clots, right? Which is fucking crazy to me because like I've met people with like one blood clot.
Yeah.
And then like crazy stories after that.
Yeah.
I have like 7, right? I got 4 on my right leg, 3 on my left, all this crazy shit. And I can't stand for that long.
Yeah.
Like being a server, bro, you see me just like shaking my feet off, like I can't stand, I can't walk for that long. And my ex, I had like a little baby scab on my leg and she picked it. I got staph infection, right?
What?
But they didn't know it was staph. So for 9 months, it was just growing, bro. Like they were like, okay, if we can't figure this shit out, we're gonna have to amputate your leg because we don't know what the fuck's going on. You know, like your leg's just getting eaten alive right now.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't fucking work at Corky's anymore, you know what I mean? And this was during the pandemic. So he came in one time, he's like, hey, where's Sam? And they were like, he had to quit, So he's like, fuck, like. So they did what they're not supposed to do, but, they gave him my number.
Yeah.
And he calls me up, and he's like, hey, this is Mark, da-da-da-da. I heard you can't work no more. You can't be on your feet. I was like, yeah, it sucks. He's like, you want to work for me? I was like, shit, okay, yeah, for sure. That sounds fun, Yeah. So really my main job there, and which is funny because he manages KCAA, which is the 106.5 and the 1050 AM.
Yeah.
That's the radio station I actually work at that I have my podcast on. He's the manager there. So he hired me on, and he was like, do you know any computer skills? I was like, nah. You know what I mean? And like that's even more rare because kids these age, like they should be into like technology and computers, but that's not how I was raised. And so he was like, all right, look, well, we're going to train you anyways. You're going to get it down and you can work here. And you can do like the weather and traffic. Okay. And when I first started doing weather and traffic, I had like a Cali accent. You know what I mean? And he was like, bro, you got to fix your accent. I was like, I have an accent? You know what I mean?
Typical Cali behavior.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because like we kind of like, we're lazy with our words.
Yeah.
So instead of saying like Santa Monica, we just be like Santa Monica. Yeah. We just roll with our words. We're kind of lazy with it. So he's like, you need to pronounce your words more, da-da-da. So he taught me the ropes a little bit. Yeah. And then he started having me do like commercials and like ads and promos for the radio. And then he was like, well, since you work here, you want to have your own show? And I was like, fuck.
That's a huge question.
Bro, and
a huge question.
Did I second guess it? I was like, nah. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking take that. Because he was like, it's a whole hour, you can do what you want. Yeah. Like, you can just play music for a whole hour. Yeah. You don't have to speak. You don't have to do nothing. Yeah. And I was like, okay, we can do that. I got some good music. I got people in the music industry that I'm going to play their fucking music for them. You know what I mean? And so I thought it was a really good opportunity to just... And the thing is, like, I wasn't thinking about myself. Yeah. I was thinking about everybody else. You know what I mean? So I was like, I can hook people up. I can bring them into the studio. I can play their music. I can get them famous, which in return... hopefully they'll help me out in the near future if they ever get it, So he was telling me, he's like, all right, what do you want your show to be? Da, da, da. And I was like, fuck, man. I was like, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, we should incorporate your name. I was like, well, let's incorporate my last name because I love my last name, And then we just couldn't fucking think of anything. So he was like, for now, we can just call it like, I don't know, like whatever works or something.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? I was like, all right, we'll keep it like that for now until I figure out a new thing. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, the more I liked it. Yeah. So
it's a solid name, man.
It is fucking solid. So I was like, whatever works. Fucking, that's perfect because I stay away from politics and I stay away from COVID. So I was like, we can talk about whatever for a whole hour. Yeah. I can do this. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like where it all started.
And it's funny because when you first start doing radio, an hour seems like a marathon run. But once you get comfortable with radio, an hour is like gone. An hour's fast.
As long as you got the right people.
Yeah. You know, we used to do a podcast. You know, it was me, Cam, and Speech. That was our trio, and it was called The Midnight Run. And I modeled it behind the concept of, originally, I wanted to have 2 guys and a girl. And I wanted one of the guys and one of the girls to always butt heads, and one guy be kind of like the ambassador, the mediator.
Right. Yeah.
That would be our show's kind of function, and we just have a ring of topics every week. And I like present a topic. He says something, she says the opposite. Boom, let's get rolling. You know, and that'd be kind of our structure. And the girl that I recruited for it, I said, hey, all you got to do to be on this show, your spot will be irreplaceable. You just have to buy your own microphone. Microphone was $125. I said, if you could buy that microphone, I'll take care of everything else. You just got to show up. She went, cool, that's a deal. And I went, cool, we got it. And then I told my other buddy, look, man, I got 2 mics already. Like, don't even worry about it. And so he came right over, and we did a pilot episode. So we were just going to sit down like me and you are and record a full-length episode, not even put it out. We were maybe just going to send it to friends and family and say, how do we sound? And because Speech was just a friend of ours, he came just to watch us do it, you know? So he doesn't even have a microphone. He's sitting in the corner of the room while me and him record the episode. And before I know it, he's yelling while we're talking so that he could be heard. And he's always arguing with the other host. And I was like
on purpose?
No.
Or
they just have differing opinions.
Okay.
And I was like, this is kind of good. And so the next time around, I got an extra microphone. He sits down on the mic.
There you go.
He talks, and it's just like we struck gold. You know, it was just perfect. And so I was like, okay, I think that chick is gone. Like, she never got the mic. Screw her, you know, like whatever. And before you know it, we drop our debut official first episode, Speeches on it. I send it to that girl, like, yo, check us out. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, you know.
You missed out.
You know, if you would have just shown up during our pilot episodes, you'd be in that seat. But she didn't. And that guy showed up without being told to every single time. So it is what it is. But yeah, man, and that ended up being one of the most successful things I've done. So it was really interesting. It was a good process.
Yeah, because those videos are, like you said, like 10, no less than 15 minutes.
Yeah. And this is the whole reason I brought that up. So originally, I don't listen to podcasts, or I didn't. I do now. So in my head, I was like, I make music. And we worry about our songs being too long. You know, we're like, whoa, the song's 6 minutes. Whoa,
Shit.
Whoa, be careful. So I was like, okay, we should not have a podcast that goes over an hour. So that's why we did pilot episodes first, to see how long they'd really be. And we usually hit about an hour. Once we got good at it, we put out 3-hour episodes. And people go crazy for them, you know?
No shit.
And it was effortless. You know, we called ourselves the Midnight Run because we'd wait till everyone got off work. Then we'd link up and we'd drink and we'd talk. And we'd be out the house way after midnight. You know, the show would end late. And so it just made sense with the hour we were recording at.
Midnight Run. I like
Midnight Run, yeah. So, yeah, man, it just kind of speaks to when I was on your show, I had so much to say. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I didn't say anything.
Bro.
It flew by so fast, you know? So it's pretty awesome. But the difference between my show and your show is I'm with the same 2 guys every time. So we build momentum and rhythm, and we learn about each other, versus your show is this guy, you may not have ever talked to him before he walked in that room.
Yeah.
What's that dynamic like for you? How do you feel about having to meet someone for the first time almost once a week?
Bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of prefer that.
Yeah?
Because think about it, if you're dating someone, right? Mm-hmm. Fresh start.
Yeah.
You guys are fucking talking till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Right? Mm-hmm. And then you guys been dating for like 3 years, and you guys go to dinner. Mm-hmm. You already know everything about each other. You know, what else are you going to say? You know what I mean? You're just going to be sitting there like...
Yeah, I told her everything the last 5 days in a row. You know, she doesn't know. Yeah.
You guys been together for 3 years every single day. So it's like, with someone new, dude, you have an infinite amount of questions.
Yeah.
Especially if you have 1 hour. Now you're like, okay, what are the best questions I can ask?
Right.
And that's something that I'm still working on, and I feel like everyone still works on, because you can always improve on like getting deeper into questions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, at first it is hard, because you also got to work off each other's energy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So if and their belief systems and just like their train of thought and their psychology, their philosophy and everything like that. Because if y'all don't match, then it's like, oh well, you know, like you don't believe in anything I believe in, okay, well shit, what do you want to talk about? You know what I mean? And that's pretty tough. But the people that do come on my show, we already have a main topic, and it's usually what they do in life. You know what I mean? We had some people where it was just random. Yeah. And then it was just like, okay, cool. So I'm really into like psychology, even though I don't go to like college for that or anything like that. I just find it very interesting.
Look, you didn't go to college for radio, and you're doing pretty all right.
That's so, you know what I mean?
You know, it's all about passion, man.
It is, and like it's kind of like speed dating in my eyes, and I'm pretty like I get excited about that shit because. It's like, okay, let me dissect this person. Yeah. And it's not even just one way either. Like I open up too, you know what I mean? And sometimes I'm a little chatterbox. Yeah. And it's usually me opening up.
That's what a good conversationalist does though. You know, you fill the void, whether it be you just asking them and guiding them so they can talk more, or you going, okay, this guy needs someone to open up first so they can open up. Right. Exactly. And I think you have a good feel for that. So
yeah, definitely. Like body language is super important. Yeah. Especially to me because like whether it's like you're talking to a girl or like some family member or just like your friends, like if you're saying something and they don't like it, it'll show. Yeah. They don't have to say it. You know what I mean? And I think one of the worst times I had a battalion chief in the fire department. He came on my show one time. And the conversation was going good, and then I brought up the fact that there's all these firemen in forestry who are getting like burned alive. You know, like before that week, I was like, yeah, there's like 14 firemen who fucking they didn't make it out. You know, yeah. He did not like that because he had friends who burned alive. Yeah, in the fire department. So like, that was not hard to read, bro. You know, he gave me the death stare, bro. He sat back, crossed his arms, he just looked at me like mad dogging me. I was like, shit, all right, I gotta redirect myself here, you know? Jeez. But like, if you know the person, you know what boundaries there are. Yeah. You know? So I think just determining the boundaries and really like reading the body language, you know? And like some people, they never been on radio. Yeah. So
that's the part I have to ask you about because so for me, I've been doing music since I was 16 years old or something like that, you know. So I've been on stages in front of 1,000 people. I've had to perform my heart out in front of 4 people. You know, I've been at an empty dive bar. I've been at the biggest thing on Sunset Boulevard, opening for some Joe Schmo, you know, and I've experienced how to be comfortable on a microphone no matter what's going on around me. But you literally bring in people kind of like this show is. So obviously with this show, you're a cheat code because you literally spend time on a microphone every week. Yeah. So this is going to go smooth. I don't even have to think. We didn't even plan anything today. Nah. You know, I didn't even warn you. I was like, we're going to be good. I've seen him in action.
Show up. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but on the flip side, you have a guy who maybe what he does in life doesn't even involve people. Maybe he's a true introvert, but a professional. How do you handle that? Navigate me through that process.
See, the thing is, it's like being extroverted and like being out in society. That's like the physical aspect of things. Yeah. But even an introvert, like bro, introverts, they think so much because they're by themselves. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if you can start picking their brain and just having them speak whatever they're thinking, show's great. It can go on forever. Yeah. You know, but the key is to, especially in radio, like here on this show, like we can pause for like 5 seconds and it'll be cool. Yeah. You know, on the radio when someone's driving and let's say they just tuned in and then all of a sudden there's like 5 seconds of dead silence because
that's a bad look.
You know, they're gonna keep going through the channels. So it's like the hardest thing is not working with somebody because you can always figure out a dynamic or something to talk about. Yeah. The key is to keep talking. Yeah. Especially if you don't know the person, then it's like, okay, what are we going to talk about next? You know what I mean? So that, I would say that is the hardest part. But introverts, like, I think those are people who I find more interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't know, but I'm an introvert. I don't go out. I do not go anywhere except for to do productive things or chill. That's it. Like, I don't really like to be out there, but I've been doing music on public social media on platforms for the last 12 years. So I'm almost like a trained one, you know? So
Yeah.
I know how to interact with people, and I actually do enjoy speaking to certain people, which is why I love picking my guests.
Right.
You know, I don't know if I could do an on-demand someone every single week like you do, because I'm so picky about who I spend my time with, you know?
See, and that's one of the things. Like, there's people I had on my show who I didn't find interesting, who I
Yeah.
didn't want to talk about. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and you still probably got through it okay.
Yeah. At the very end, I'm like, you know what? It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But like, one of the worst ones was probably the CEO over in New Jersey, and she does like face creams,
Okay.
and stuff, and like skin products. Mm-hmm. But I mean, for the most part, if I was a female, I'll probably be more into it. Mm-hmm. But I don't really care about that, you know.
Yeah.
I just wash my face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I dig deep? Like, where's my research? Where am I coming from? Okay, like
Yeah.
what's the ingredients? You know, like things like that. But you can tell over the mic, I did not sound exciting.
Yeah.
I was very monotone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like trying to think of questions like up on the spot, which is another thing. Like, we used to write out our scripts. Mm-hmm. We used to have fucking bullet points, all these topics.
Yeah.
But then people, like, you can almost hear it like in their voices.
Yeah.
And like the track that they're going towards, you know what I mean? Which is fine because the structure is nice to have.
Yeah.
But it's not genuine.
Yeah.
Like, me and you, we can bounce back and forth, talk about anything.
Yeah.
You know? But if you have a bullet points, then you mentally and subconsciously, you try to stick to that,
Yeah.
regardless if you have things that you want to talk about outside of that. You know what I mean? But I would say, for you telling me that you had to perform in front of like 4 people,
Yeah.
compared to like all the hundreds of other people you've done, like,
Yeah.
that to me would be hard for me.
Yeah.
Because with an energy of like 100 people or 1,000 people, you going like you
Yeah.
know, you feel the vibe, the energy, it's there. But then when you have 4 people, you almost don't want to do it.
Oh, trust me. And you think about that. You almost want to shorten your set. You know, let me
cut
just do
it.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
you know, you think to yourself, because it's like, for me specifically, when I do a solo set, I have songs where I'm literally in my head. So when I make a record, I can hear myself performing it. You know, I know how it would go on stage. I'm like, okay, the hook is like this on the CD, but it needs to be like this when I'm live. You know, I'll redo things. And some of them will be like, if you're here with me, say yeah, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
There's 4 people in the crowd. You're going to look like an idiot if
Right.
you do that, you know? So you've got to find ways to maneuver and just perform for the 4 people like they're 1,000 people, you know? And I love music, man. I love to perform and I love music. So for me, it's just the mindset of, let's get these reps in, you know?
Yeah.
Now I look for those shows. You know, for me, like, I have a pile of new music now. We talked about this already, but I have a ton of new music, and I know I want to perform it for a big crowd, but I need to get some reps under my belt. So, you know, let me go out and experiment. I'm going to go to a little dive bar that's doing an open mic. And I'm
Right.
going to give them some platinum records. You know, they're like, oh, why is this guy so good? You know, like, he's
Yeah, yeah.
performing for a dive bar? I do that now, you know, and I get excited to do open mics and pop up at places no one's expecting me. I didn't promote it. There's no links online. I just went to do my craft, you know. Dave Chappelle's like arguably the best comedian on earth. He before he started officially his return, I don't know if you remember, but he kind of just disappeared. And when he came back to the States because he was out of the country, he started doing stand-up, but he didn't go on tour. He didn't sell tickets. He didn't broadcast his name. He would just fly into a town and just go to the local improv and just ask the guy who runs it, like, hey, I'm Dave Chappelle. Can I do a set? They're like, what the
Like, yeah, of course.
yeah, you know, and he would come in, and people who probably showed up for free to just drink and watch some local acts who probably aren't funny ended up seeing a full set from Dave Chappelle. And he did that for about a year, you know, and that reminded me, okay, if I'm trying to perfect my craft and I'm really passionate about this, you know, those are the shows that really count, you know,
Right.
and, you know, they get you where you want to go. I guess my question for you is, where's your head at with radio and what you do now? Is this a passion of yours now, or is this just kind of an opportunity that you're still within?
I want to say I'm kind of just using it as leverage.
Yeah.
Because I got money coming in from like sponsors when I first started out.
Yeah.
And all I had was my business card.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I got my show, listen to it,
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently when I started building like a platform, social media, and all this stuff, and I have a lot of people under my belt now. I've been doing it for 2 years, episode like 115. I'm doing good,
Yeah.
but it's not like, all right, I'm gonna go all out. This is the only thing I'm going for.
Yeah.
Because my end goal is not to be, on the radio and like get people famous. And truth be told, honestly, bro, like if I was doing this in the 80s, 90s, bro, I'd be a superstar.
Yeah. Yeah. For
You know
sure.
what I mean?
For sure. Radio was king.
Yeah. And now it's like, at first people are like, oh, bro, like no one listens to the radio anymore. Da, 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 da. But since I started building it up, like I don't hear that no more. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People are like, oh, dude, you're on the radio. That's fucking dope, bro. Like,
Yeah.
da, 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 da. And it's like, okay, cool. And I have people that send me videos like on Snapchat or whatever, and they're like listening to me on the radio. I'm like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, bro. That's awesome. I
Yeah.
like to hear that. But it's not until like, see, that's the thing with like success. I feel like you can't do something and like when it's already happening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I can't be like, all right, I'm gonna wait until I'm successful and then go all out. Mm-hmm. That's not how it works. You gotta
Yeah.
go all out and then become successful.
Exactly. That's
You
true.
know? And like a lot of people, they just wait for the opportunity. And for me, it came to me, and at first I wasn't really taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. But now it's kind of like I'm working on it more.
Yeah.
I'm doing other shows. I'm on this show. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like it's branching out, and
Yeah.
I like that. So maybe like you don't really expect things to turn out the way they do. I didn't expect this to get me like not anywhere, but just like the next step.
Yeah.
And going on other people's shows, that's the next step.
Yeah.
So like the more I think about it, the more I was like, okay, how valuable is this show?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, I told my best friend when I was living with them at first, I was like, hey, bro, I'm not gonna do the show here pretty soon. Because it was hard, dude. Like finding a new guest every week.
It's not easy, man.
Bro.
It's not easy, especially in the beginning.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
That was a tough one. And now I just got people booked like left and right. So, but if the opportunity comes where it's like it needs my full attention, that's still a good question. I don't know. I don't know if I'll give it to them. You know what I mean?
What is your what's the ideal in game for you? Is it even radio at all? Or do you want to?
Nah, bro. I did not.
Obviously,
it was
you
not
said
in my
before
head.
you were thinking about movies and acting and stuff at one point. Where's your head at now?
See, that's the thing. Well, right now, bro, the only goal I have is to be financially free.
Okay.
So whatever it takes to get there, I'm gonna
Typical millennial.
bro. But it's like I would rather take advice and not orders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I would rather do my thing than listen to somebody else tell me what to do, especially if I don't like it, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like right now, I have my real estate license, and it's like, okay, I know that a majority of millionaires, like they have real estate investments in their portfolio. So if that's one of the key things to get them successful, I want to learn about it.
Yeah.
So how do I learn about it? I get into that field.
Yeah.
I didn't become a real estate agent to be fucking top dog, number one, bestseller. Nah, I went in there to obtain knowledge.
Yeah.
So I know what to do when I have the chance. You know what I mean? Radio, that's just leverage.
Yeah.
I have real estate agents calling my show. I have lenders calling my show. And that's a good time to obtain knowledge,
Absolutely.
and just get my name out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm doing it. Not for the fame or for anything else besides like helping other people and, leveraging my life for my career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of like where it's at now.
Okay.
But I shouldn't relax on that though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I really want to get my name out there, then I should really build my show up, my podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's where you get the people the listeners. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
absolutely. And you are actively improving at your craft. Even when I was on the show, there's a side of me that's in the moment, and there's a side of me that's outside the moment as well. So I'm there answering the questions, talking to you on the show, but then there's another me standing out watching our show, and he's going, look at this guy. That guy just grabbed a notepad and started writing down thoughts while the song played. This guy asked me about. He tried to build structure by asking me about my timeline, and he ran with a theme, even though we didn't plan one.
Right.
You know, and I see all these things you're doing, and I'm going, oh, he's methodical. He thinks while he works. He can walk and talk at the same time.
Bro,
You know, so
that's something that you need.
you have to, but there's no one there to tell you to do that. You know, you could do your show for 5 years, and not one person would say you need to do that.
Right.
You know, so there has to be a moment where you look inward and go, okay, how can I improve my craft? How can I master this? And it's even crazier that you're telling me it's not what you want to do for a living, but you're still self-critical enough to, you know, add on to your skill set.
Yeah.
You're not just relying on charisma only, you know, which is like, hey, I'm a cool guy.
We're doing this.
Yeah, you know, there's thoughts to it, you know, and you look inward and stuff like that, and that's impressive, man.
You know what's funny? Now that you're talking about like the improvements, I was telling Kyle, my co-host, you know, I was like, "Hey, bro, we need to get like a second camera and do like the side clips, like what you were showing me today."
Yeah.
And then in the beginning, you're like, "Oh, look at the camera, da 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 da."
Yeah.
I literally told Kyle that 2 weeks ago, and he was like, "Why, bro?" I was like, "Bro, have you ever like watched the news or like watched like all these people like?"
People don't realize the things they like, which is me saying, hey guys, check this out, blah blah blah, versus, so we can make this seem like people are watching two people talk, or we can make this feel like three people are having a conversation.
Right. We're talking to you.
Right, exactly. You know, and obviously we are having a conversation,
Right.
but it's very important to engage with the third party as well. You know, because this piece here will be up for who knows how long, you know, and the goal is to make it timeless, you know,
Yeah,
so that
for
it stays
sure.
up, you know. So, I mean, as a guy who makes music where the goal is to put it out and it stays out, oh, there's so much cringe stuff I've done that
for
is
sure.
out there on the internet. I've taken a lot down, and it's still out there. You know, it's hard to erase stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess my next question for you, man, is where's your mindset with life in general? You know, if everything got stuck in a loop right now and this is what you did for the rest of your life, how would you feel about it?
Great.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I knew, hey, you're not doing anything else besides this, then that I would have a better understanding. So I can put more work, more effort to it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if this is it, then we're gonna be a master at this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's funny because I called Monday, so yesterday, to talk to a therapist. Right. Never done that before.
What made you do that?
Well, you know, there's a bunch of things in my life, but one thing is like my mind right now is indecisive. So I don't know if you're like religious or not.
Not super religious, no.
Okay, so basically they say like your conscience is the fucking authentic word of God.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right?
Okay.
So like when I was smoking weed, all right, I don't smoke anymore. I haven't smoked since my birthday, which was in September
What day in September?
2nd.
Have we had this conversation?
We did,
Okay,
yeah, because yours
good.
is like in the
I'm the 5th.
5th, yeah.
I'm right after you.
Yeah,
Jeez,
yeah.
That's so crazy, man.
So, you know, I was smoking for like 9 years straight, dog. And it wasn't until like later on where like I would smoke, but like my mind would be like pissed. I'll be mad at myself for smoking. You know what I mean? And that's my conscience just like, bro, stop smoking. You need to stop smoking. Da 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 da. And that was like my conscience, which was like God telling me, hey, bro, you need to stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I stopped, and then I've been waking up earlier. I've been doing things better. You know, I'm living my life healthier. And it's like,
Yeah.
there's so many things. And I've been following my conscience ever since that. And it's been putting me on the right path,
Yeah.
you know, because you have to like follow something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's got to be a route, you know,
Yeah.
and a journey. And you got to wake up and this is totally off topic, but you know, I'm a natural. I wake up and like I have things I got to get done. I have so many goals and plans, you know.
Yeah.
It feels horrible for me to spend a day not doing something towards them. And so, for example, so for me today, I knew, all right, Sam's coming through. I worked today, I went to the gym today, and all these little things go towards like my fitness goal, my financial goal, my creative goals. And I had this incident where I fell off a waterfall. I don't know if I told you about this,
No.
but I fell off a waterfall, forest fall specifically. I made a whole album behind this. It was a life-changing event for me. I fell off of a waterfall 20 feet high, landed on my back and neck. Bow, bow, hit the ground. Don't know if I'm supposed to survive that or not. I don't know. But I was in the best shape of my entire life at the time when it happened. And I got up, or I woke up, didn't know where I was. And there's only 3 other people in the forest in that area when it happened. One of them was a dude. He ran down to go get help, called 911. So a helicopter's on the way now. And then there's like 2 chicks there. One's like, I swear, you look like you died. I thought you died. And then you just woke up. And I had like blood leaking out my head. I had my like.
This is from 20 feet?
20 feet.
That's it?
Dude, I fell from a waterfall and landed on rocks on my neck. Fuck. You know, like not on my feet, not on my back, like on my neck. And the way I landed, it was like neck, and then I flopped backwards, so then my legs hit the ground next to my head. So they hit
you
the
folded.
ground. Yeah, I folded. Yeah. So my legs were split open from the rocks, had to get stitches, and my skull had like almost a hole in it. I have a bald spot in my head you can't see because the way my hairstyle is. But
okay,
but if I ever get like a clean fade, bald spot, it'll be there.
They'll be, oh fuck, dude! I swear I didn't mess up your haircut.
My barber, I went to my barber for the first time like 6 weeks after this all happened, and I told him, "Don't even touch that area, man. Let it grow, let it grow out, man." But I say all that to say, you know, after that happened, it made me realize like my priorities shifted a little bit, you know, and it was a whole 6-week stretch where they said, "Hey, no physical activities, no sports, you have to chill." And I said, at the time, my job was literally technical installations, like climbing in attics, drilling, climbing ladders. I couldn't go to work. Right. So, couldn't go to work and couldn't go to the gym. Couldn't do anything, you know? And so, for the first time in my life, I had to just sit down and just sit. And it was the worst thing ever, you know. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get fatter. I'm gonna get stupider. I'm not making any money, you know. I'm like, everything's stuck, you know.
Driving you crazy.
Yeah, and it drove me crazy, and it made me realize, man, I took a lot of things for granted, you know. Previously, I really enjoyed being able to wake up and get out and get to it every single day. And how do you feel like when you wake up? Are you like overly driven? Because I have a close friend of mine who I just got to know him on a scale of like living together, and he's the total opposite of me, you know. He's got his things he has no choice but to do, which may be like maybe going to work, maybe you have a commitment to a league or a church or something, and he goes, okay, on these days I have to do those things. He's like, when I don't have to do something, I don't do anything, I relax. And that's how he lives his life, you know. And I look at him and I'm like judgmental almost. Like, what do you mean you don't have to do anything? This is finally your chance.
Bro, you got so much shit going. What are you talking about?
Like, now the commitments are out the way. Activate, you know? That's how I feel. And he was like, no, man, I committed to those things. I do them. And I do them with everything. And when I don't have to do them, I chill. And I wanted to be almost negative towards it and tell him, you're taking things for granted. But now I have a new mindset, which is not everyone is go, 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 go. You know, some people are, at least he committed to something and does it, and he has structure in his life. And then he chills when he doesn't. What do you do?
See, if I have to, like, I don't want to judge him.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not the way he lives life.
Yeah.
You know, the way he lives life is what he does after all the commitment.
Right. And
that shows something. You know what I mean? Well, me, bro, I don't got a girlfriend because of like I can't stay in bed all day.
Yeah,
bro, like my mind just runs 100 miles per hour. Like fuck, I got so much shit to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then the girls are like, no, stay, like sleep in. Like I can't, bro. Like
exactly.
Like, it drives me crazy. You know, and it's like even if I don't have anything to do, I make sure I have something to do. Like there will never be a day where it's like I have nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like I will always have something to do.
I haven't been bored since I was like 12. I've never sat down and went, I'm bored.
Nah,
you know?
bro.
And that's a crazy thing for me to hear a grown adult say. And I try not to be critical or, you know, tell people how life's supposed to be lived. But it's just so funny to me for an adult to say, I'm bored.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time you were depressed?
I don't get depressed.
See?
Yeah, I don't get depressed.
Bro, people who, like, boredom is depression.
It is.
if you're always moving, bro, the depression's behind you, dog.
Yeah.
It's not in front of you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's what I learned, dog. You know what I mean? Like there was times like when I was in bed rest for my my blood clots, bro. I was depressed.
Yeah.
Because you know, every man should be like making those wins, bro, making progress. Like we're built on building, whether we're building ourselves or building fucking furniture or whatever it is, dog. Like that's what we do. Like that's how we're supposed to. That's how we're built.
Yeah.
You know. So every day, if we're not doing anything, bro, we're gonna feel like nothing. If we don't do nothing, we're gonna feel like nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so like with me, my problem is like I have so much shit like your homie does, like all this like stuff I'm committed to.
Yeah.
But half of this stuff is not committed to me.
Yeah.
It's committed to other people.
Yeah.
Which holds back what I need to fucking do for myself.
Right.
You know, and that's one that's one of the reasons why I was trying to find a therapist, because you know, I lived my whole life being selfless and just giving my own time, my own money, and my life to other people. We're like the same
person, man. You know, so this is my version of that. So I started doing music in seriously, like, hey, I do music. I tell people that probably 2009. And during that era, I worked with one other close friend, and me and him both would just hype each other up. You're so dope. You're so dope. Everyone else sucks. You know, that was our attitude. We would just hype each other up and talk down on everyone else. Yeah. And then I kind of grew away from that. And I went, I'm no more special than anyone else. There's a million people doing what I do. Right. And some of them do it better, you know? And then I had this revelation, or what's the word? It's a T-Pain album. I can't think of the word right now. But I had an
epiphany.
I had an epiphany. That's a T-Pain album. But yeah, I had an epiphany. That's so funny. I knew the album title, but not the word. I had an epiphany, and it was, I don't have to be all about myself, because my greatest passion is the creative process. So I decided to invest my time into helping other people who want to do exactly what I do, and being a part of their creative process, and then making what they want to do dope. So I have this internal voice when I watch people make music, where I go, okay, he needs to fix his voice. He needs to record it this way. He needs to get this type of production, you know, and I can hold their hand through the whole process up to a classic album. So I made a list, maybe this might have been last year, of every album I've executive produced with, like, I have a credit. Like if you ask that artist, they'll say, oh, he made this album with me. It was like 40 albums. Damn. I made like 40 albums, and I didn't even realize this. And I went, oh my God, you know, I've really put so much time into other people's works. There's a reason why, even though I've been making music at a pretty good level for 12 years, you've never heard of a song. And it's because I was in everyone else's stuff. If you ask all those artists you do know that are local hip hop artists, they know me. Have they heard a song? I don't know. But they know me because everyone knows me for being a part of stirring the pot, you know, and making things happen. And my recent epiphany was, I was a little bit upset with myself, because I'd walk into a room and meet you, and I'd only be in that room because you wanted to meet that guy. And I'm like, that guy respects me so much that you want to meet because I was a part of his process. But you don't care about me, you know? And I wanted to change that, because I like making it myself too. Right. And so I went from being team artist to team Kasai. And so now it's make my own projects, make my own videos, all the things I learned from creating with others. It's almost like I collected the Infinity Stones. And I'm over here like, okay, we've learned. We have everything. Snap the fingers, make the album, you know? Now I'm in this position where I'm like, oh man, no longer serving others, and now I'm serving myself. And I feel like I've never been in a better position, because I spent so much time being selfless. You know, didn't charge anyone anything. I didn't charge money for a lot of the stuff I did. And if I did, I just charged them for my actual time. Like, hey, dude, I'm not at work today. Just give me that. What they pay me, just give me that. I don't care what other people charge for this. Just pay me what I'd normally make in my job. And that's kind of how I've always modeled my work, is just make it worth my hours. You know, instead of, they charge $5,000 for a music video. I'm like, dude, I would have made $200 today. Give me $225. You know, and I'm good, you know, so that's pretty much where I've been. How's that been for you if you've been selfless for so long? Where are you at right now? Because I know you as Sam Works, and Sam Works about Sam. Yeah. How is that?
You know, I think I wasn't aware or acknowledge exactly what I was doing, and the people that I was helping. And the thing is, like, with you, it's a little different because, like, you helping other people, especially, like, with their sound, their video, and all this stuff, like, you're perfecting your own craft. Because if you just worked on yourself, like, you know how your voice should sound.
Yeah.
But since you worked on, like, thousands of other people, like, your expertise is sharper.
Yeah.
You know? With me, like, my biggest problem is, like, I give too much. I'm too nice of a guy. Bro, I give out too much money. You know, I as a kid, I was like, okay, what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Bro, I can't complain. I have a fucking blessed life, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I thank myself and God every single night. Like, there's nothing that I wanted that I don't have.
Right.
You know? But at the same time, I'm a fucking doormat. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to build myself up.
Yeah.
But I care about people so much. Like, I'm trying to build them up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I can't do that until I build myself up.
Right.
You know, like, I live at the house with 3 other dudes in a fucking 2-bedroom house. All right? It's fucking hectic.
Yeah.
All right? I can't stand a dirty home.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, all right, so what do I have to do in order to help these people? Because I can't bitch at them and be like, bro, pick up your shit, dog.
Yeah.
That's just too much testosterone flowing in one house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if I work on myself first, then I can build other people up. And that's something that I'm learning this year. You know, like, I keep my room clean, and then I keep whatever I'm doing clean. So they don't have a way out of saying, if I'd be like, hey bro, can you fucking clean this up, dog? He can't be like, well, your fucking room's dirty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Same thing with
leading by example.
Leading by example, bro. Same thing with drugs.
Yeah.
Like, I stopped smoking and vaping and all that stuff. Like before we went on the show, you're like, oh, I'm slowing down on drinking. Me too, bro.
Yeah.
Because after I stopped smoking, I was like, what's next? Like, I want to stop drinking. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's someone at my house who's just, you know, he doesn't consume drugs, bro. Drugs consume him. Like, he's fucked right now. And it's like, I wanted to stop smoking so I can be like, hey, bro, like, not even talk to him, but show him. Like,
like, hey, man, join me.
Yeah, bro, I'm living a better life.
Yeah.
You should too. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm trying to learn. But the hardest thing is letting people you care about the most, like, go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't fucking give you money no more.
Man,
you know?
We're living very similar lives.
And it fucking sucks. I'm not gonna...
It does, you know. So for me specifically, my music journey has always been I see the best in others, even if they don't see it in themselves, you know. So I've had friends where I go, I'm a fan of this guy, and I'm a fan of what I know he's going to do down the road if he sticks to it, you know. And so I bring them along. Hey, I'm starting this group. You need to be a member. Or I'll tell the people who are gonna be in it for sure, we got to bring my boy. You know, he's got to be a member. He's gonna be good. Don't worry about what he's doing now. Trust what he's gonna do later. And people go, we trust you. All right, let's do it. You know, and I've always been very just that person in everything I do. And it's been just recently where I've gone, you know what? I'm in the group, and I'm gonna do what I can for the group.
Right.
And, you know, I'm not gonna force people down a journey they're not choosing for themselves, you know. And I can only hope that them seeing the journey makes them want to, hey, man, I want to be a part of that.
Right.
And if they do that, put their best foot forward, then by all means, you know, let's do it. But, you know, I can't push people. When I first got my old job, when I first got it, I had a leader above me. He was a great leader. And he told me, there's 2 types of people I lead. There's pushers and there's pullers. And he was telling me, you know, it's my job to hire people and train them up and make them do their job great. Some people, I hire them and they always bother me. Hey, man, what can I do next? How can I get better? What can I do to be you? I want to take your role. And he was like, those guys are always pulling at me. It's like pulling me towards them. You know, they want me closer to them. And he was like, then there's guys that they're just doing the bare minimum and I have to call them and push them in the right direction. They're not bad employees. They just do what they got to do. You know, They're not really concerned about the future or the journey. They're going, if no one's asking me to do it, I don't need to do it.
Right.
And they can't expect it of me. And then there's other guys going, I don't know what they're expecting or where their head's at, but I know where I want to be. So I'm gonna ask the closest guy I know how to get there.
Right.
And I think that me and you are both pullers for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
You know,
Yes, sir.
so it's interesting that we spend time around a lot of people who need to be pushed. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got to remind yourself it's not necessarily your job to do that. You know.
But I mean, honestly, bro, if we're not there, who else do they have? You know what I mean?
It's the $1 million question. It's a $1 million question, and you know that's what separates the billionaires from the millionaires. You know, the billionaire guy said, "All right, man, peace."
Right.
That's the billionaire.
Hey, there's a reason why a Lamborghini only has 2 seats.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
That's it.
And a bus has like what, 30? Like,
man, that's a good saying, man. I have a song that literally has that mindset, and it says that my thinking is like a charter bus. And you're probably the only person who's gonna hear that line and go, dude.
I
feel you.
understand.
I
Yeah.
feel you.
Yeah.
Because I definitely don't have the 2-seater mentality, and I want the 2-seater position in life. You know, so it's very tricky for me navigating and being uncomfortable at times because of it. You know,
Bro, because I'm on the same boat as you, bro.
Yeah.
And one time, this was years ago, dude. I took some shrooms, right? And we went up to the woods. This is at midnight, dog. And I was with a couple of my friends. And when you're on shrooms, I don't know if you ever took any, but like you're not supposed to be like with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's more like isolation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we went up to the woods. First time I was not scared of the dark in the middle of the woods, by the way. It was just like that fear was gone. But I was like, all right. I tell my boys, I'm like, hey guys, I'm gonna go, like, it's peaking now. The shrooms are peaking. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go for a walk. Like, don't mind me. I'm just gonna be by myself. You know, just do what I gotta do. And so I did that, bro. I started walking, and I was like, I took a deep breath. I was like, this is the first time I'm by myself, like, in my life. So if whatever I want to think about, I better start thinking about it now. You know what I mean? Because everywhere I go, bro, there's always someone that needs me, or always someone that wants to talk to me, or even my own head, bro, just like running. I don't get no complete silence in my life, you know, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right, this is it. You know, there's nowhere quieter in the world than a forest,
Yeah.
you know? And as soon as I said that, bro, there's like a beam of light just down the dirt road. I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I can't get away from no one. So my head ass goes towards the light. And it's actually a funny story, but basically what I learned is that, like, I can't escape society. Like, no matter what, I'm gonna be around people,
Yeah.
even if I'm by myself, you know? So running away from your problem is not the answer. Learning to work with your problem,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like, that's what I've been trying to do. Like, I want that position, like you said, the 2-seater Lamborghini, but it's like, I gotta tell everyone to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, back in the day, I used to tell, like, my cousin is the only person that asks me for money now. And I give it to him, you know, because he has a family, he's in need, whatever. But the thing is, I saw this video. It was like this professor, and he was like, okay, if I had a cup of coffee and one of my friends or family members put sugar in it, what's gonna happen? He's like, nothing. We're cool, right?
Yeah.
But if I had a cup of coffee and one of my enemies dropped like acid into my coffee and I drink it, what's gonna happen? Like, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, so what happens if you have your cup of coffee and your friend or your family member drops acid in it? Same result, you're gonna fucking die. And it's like, you have to, like, no matter what or who it is, you got to be careful of what's happening in your life. And even though I love my cousin, he's dropping acid in my coffee, bro, by taking my money, asking for help, and this and this and this, when like I'm struggling, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like my selflessness that's like, okay, he needs more money than I do,
Yeah.
you know. But then where am I gonna end up?
Yeah.
I'm gonna end up in the same position that everybody else is in. And me and you, we run every single day, not physically, but like we got shit to do every single day.
Yeah.
And I have people tell me, even my brother, bro, like, hey, you need to slow down on life. You're trying to grow up too fast. Da da da. And I never said this to my brother because he's the one that tells me the most. But if I told him, like, hey, bro, if I took your advice, would I be where you're at right now? Would I want to be where you're at right now? No. So why would I take advice? You You know, if you ask a millionaire, he ain't gonna be like, nah, bro, you're going too hard. Take it easy. He's not saying that, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like I have all these people around me who I'm surpassing, and they're all trying to influence me to slow down.
Yeah.
Not because they're trying to hurt me, but you know, they have their own views, their own.
They're
things.
trying to make themselves feel more comfortable. You know.
Yeah, bro. And it's like I gotta go.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And it's like I broke up with, you know, like the love of my life when I first met her. Like I broke up with her because I needed to be successful. You know, I can't, like, bro, I would do what I had to do throughout the day, and then at night I would come home to her, right? And then she's like, oh, I'm hungry, so we'll go out to eat, and then like we in bed, so we'll have sex, whatever. And she told me, we break up on Valentine's Day, and she goes, you only want to see me if you're hungry or you're horny. And I was like, that's not the case. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be successful, you know what I mean? Because when I got my blood clots, bro, like you jumping off that cliff, like that was your turnaround in life. Me getting blood clots, that was my turnaround.
Yeah.
You know, like people, they live a life as if like they're immortal.
Yeah.
Bro, death does not have an age. You know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be successful before my time's up, dog.
Yeah.
Because you never know when it's going to happen,
Yeah.
you know? But, and the thing is, like, I know people who put their foot down and they got more respect. But it's like, the people I got to put my foot down to are the people who I care about.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, dude. Like, that's probably the toughest thing I'm going through in life.
Sheesh, man.
You know?
That's rough, man.
Yeah.
That's real rough, you know, and not everyone has to deal with that. You know, some people are surrounded by people who've got it all figured out, and they're just next in line to figure it out. You know, so you're facing some adversity for sure.
Yes, sir.
You know?
And like my boss, you know, he's disabled. He's like mentally, well, not mentally ill, but he's like physically ill. And so like, you know, I'm getting money now. That's like instant gratification, right? But it's not my purpose in life.
Yeah.
And it's like working those hours, taking care of him, getting his medicine, going grocery shopping, helping him lose weight and all that. Like, I'm getting income, and that's helping me survive, like, now.
Yeah.
But that's not helping me in the future, bro. I should be taking those hours and calling people, door knocking, selling homes, you know, networking, do what I have to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, if I let him go, ain't no one else gonna help him. He's gonna drop off the map real quick, you know? So it's like, fuck, dude, like, what do I do, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
rough, man.
helping all these people, and it's like, I know I get blessed every now and then, like every day. But the hardest thing is like giving up your life for someone else's.
Yeah.
You know, like last year I was like 22. I was dating a 32-year-old, right? She had a 14-year-old kid. Well, he's 14 now. He was 13 back then. And she was like, let's just see how it goes. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm older than you, whatever, oop-de-whoop. And I was like, okay, fine, fuck it. And like, it started getting serious. You know what I mean? But then it's like, my conscience, bro, kept telling me, is like, she ain't the one. This ain't it. Like, I was literally giving up my life that I projected myself and manifested about to live a life with her and her son.
Yeah.
And that was like, dude, when I'm telling you, dog, like, I woke up the next morning, like, in bed with her, and like, I physically did not want to fucking say anything. But like, it just built up so much that my mouth just started fucking talking. And I let her know what was up, you know what I mean? And she goes, well, if that's how you feel, then, you know, get out. And I just packed my shit and I left, you know what I mean? But I feel like every year you should be learning something new about yourself, you know, psychologically.
Yeah.
And they say that every 5 to 7 years, your mind changes. Because if you think about it, from 5 to 10, you're not thinking the same. 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20, 25, you know, it goes on and so forth. Right now, I'm 23. So when I was 20, bro, I was making stupid ass decisions.
Yeah.
And when I was 15, I was making even dumber decisions. You know what I mean? But now it's like, I'm on that path where it's like, I'm serious about life. You know what I mean? Like, bro, when I was like 14, 15, that was my party years, bro.
Yeah.
All the way till 18. You know what I mean? And so like that's why I feel bad for people who are going to college. Like they had parents who were super strict on them. They didn't party, they didn't do drugs, they didn't have sex, and then they go to college and they're fucking up.
Yeah.
They're getting shit faced. You know,
Yeah.
they are testing their lives.
Yeah.
I did that shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So now it's like, all right, well, now let me build my life. Let me create
Yeah.
myself, you know? I went to a party, was it like 2 or 3 years ago? And that was the first time where I was like, I looked around and I was like, I see these people fucking acting a fool and being drunk, which would usually be me.
Yeah.
You know? But now I'm just the people watching them.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck that, bro. I'm done going out and going to like house parties. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be like that crazy.
Yeah.
And so like everyone's like, oh, you're growing up too fast. I'm like, nah, bro. I already grew up. That's the thing.
Yeah, you've been through it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so like now it's like I'm trying to talk to people who've been fucking millionaires already.
That's the way, man.
You know?
I think that you doing your show has helped with that.
Oh yeah,
You know,
for sure.
it's brought you a lot of perspective, and you've got to dig into the lives of people who are kind of are feeling the way you are saying you feel now, which is, hey, I did some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I've experienced those things, but a lot of the people you talk to, maybe you're at a place where you're going, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to do what they do, but I want to get to that place where I go, okay, I've settled in and I've kind of mastered my lane, you know. So
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
What is the best advice you ever gotten?
Best advice I've ever gotten. I don't know if it was word for word advice, but you know, I had someone essentially tell me you're never actually ready. You know, and so for me, you know, I just did music, and what I used to do was flip cars. My dad, the one thing he handed down to me over everything else for my whole family is nothing is worth what people ask for. That's how they profit. You can always get it for less, you know? And so I've
good.
I navigate through my life. Like everything I own, everything you see around, I didn't pay regular price for anything. You know, I got what I wanted to pay. You know, that's how I get ahead. And so, for example, if I ever hit rock bottom, I'm not scared. I'm going to sell that TV for more than I paid for it. These speakers, I'm going to sell for more than I paid for it.
There you go.
I'll have racks just selling everything I bought, you know,
Yeah.
and that'll be in profit. And, you know, I got on a high because I was 20 years old, flipping cars, $1,000 profit. I was selling 1 to 3 cars a week, you know, and sometimes I'd only profit $50. Sometimes I'd profit $2,000 or $3,000 on the car. And I blinked, and, you know, it was a system I had with my dad where he'd help me sell them. And I'd just give him a cut for selling them. You know, I'd be like, man, you take that money, man.
Thanks, Pops.
You did a good job, man.
Yeah.
And he
Giving
wouldn't even
him money.
He wouldn't even charge me much because he was just proud of what I was doing. You know?
Yeah,
He'd be
yeah.
like, man, just give me $100. You can have the rest of the profit. I'd be like, dang, cool. And before I knew it, I was getting cocky about it, you know, and not with other people, but just like
Yourself.
I couldn't lose, you know.
Yeah.
I felt like I couldn't lose. And so I go to the dental office, and I still got that crazy mindset. And I'm like, hey, I need braces. You know, my teeth are moving. My wisdom teeth are in. I got them pulled out. And they're like, yeah, you know, braces are about $3,000. And I was like, $3,000 for people who come in here and don't have $3,000. How much is it really cost to get braces? I tell this lady straight to her face. I'm like, if I gave you cash right now, how much are braces really? And she's like, oh, we do offer 20% off if you pay up front. I was like, that's $600 off. Here. Gave her the cash. I just put out my wallet, gave her
No shit.
Gave her the cash, got $600 off my braces. Boom, get my braces in. And I'm getting even cockier. I'm like, dude, as long as you got cash is king, you know?
Cash is king, bro.
And so I come back home and I'm like, I need another auction. When's the next auction? We go to an auction, man. I'm just buying anything that goes through. I'm not even checking cars like I used
Yeah.
to. I buy 3 straight complete lemons. These cars, I spend a little more than I normally would because I'm cocky about it now, and I think I'm gonna sell them. And then I can't even get these cars back home. Like they're breaking down, falling apart. I end up taking a loss on every single car I bought. I just dropped thousands on braces. I was giving out money to, you know, different projects and my music and my passions. Before I knew it, I had about $3,000 in cash left, and all my bills were about to be due. And I went, oh, I have enough to buy 1 car, and if it doesn't sell, I have no money left. So
Roll the dice.
I rolled the dice, and I landed on my face, man. And I was like, I don't have any money left.
Damn.
I called up my buddy, and he's been asking me to work at some retail store for years. And I was like, I used to laugh at him. Like, I ain't working in no retail store. Like, I wake up at 11 o'clock every day, unless I got to go to an auction. That's what I do. And he was like, man, I finally put the app in. I start working there. And they asked me if they liked the way I interviewed. And they said, you want to be a computer technician instead? I was like, I don't fix computers. I ain't no computer tech. And in the back of my mind, I went, you're never ready for what's in front of you. So I said, yes.
No shit.
And I took a job in a field I had no experience in. And then they offered me level 2 of that. No experience in it. Took it. And, I've just kind of been climbing up the total pole. Now I hire the technicians, And I started off as a guy who had no technical background, and so I guess that mantra of you're never actually going to be ready, so don't overthink it, is kind of just how I navigate my life now. Like even this place here, I bought this and I was like, I don't even know how to turn off the water if there's a leak in the house. I was like, I'm about to buy a property, like, am I crazy? Yes, I'm crazy. I'm going to do it. So I take the leap. It's like, I'll figure out the rest later, and, COVID hit and the market shot up and now my equity's through the ceiling, so it's just taking the leap, it's just what it's about.
And that's what, honestly, that's that successful mindset, bro.
Yeah.
I know people who are scared of taking risks.
I'm still scared of taking risks, but
you do it.
I just do it anyway.
You do it, bro.
And I always ask myself, am I scared to be broke again?
No.
I'm not. I'm not scared to be broke. There's a period in my life where I had 3 channels on my TV, and it was a big tube TV. It was just me and my mom. We had PAX, KVCR, and the other channel was garbage. I don't even remember what it was.
He said, forget that one. It's technically 2.
That was all I had. I could sometimes, she just kept the lights on, and I never once felt like we didn't have much. I always felt like we had everything we needed. I was happy back then, So for me, not that I could ever go back that far back, because my own family's doing better than that, but I just go, I'm not afraid of the bottom because I've been there and I was happy there. So I can only go upward, and taking those risks make me realize I can't go back now. So
yeah,
I'm good.
And a lot of people, bro, they freak out, they trip, like, oh, bro, I can't restart. You know what I mean? It's like you're not restarting, bro.
Yeah,
you're starting with knowledge now.
That's the weapon.
Yeah, knowledge and experience, dog. Like, you have it. So regardless if you go all the way back, you have something.
You'll get back to where you were much faster than the first time you did it.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, man. So I thought we were just gonna talk about you and radio, but
nah, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like philosophy and just like psychology and everything like that, because that's where it really hits. It gets deep.
Yeah.
Because it helps other people. If they start to realize like how you got built up, then it's like they can take stuff from that and put it in their own lives.
Exactly.
When we had Justin on my show, like towards the end, bro, it's so funny. Like even 2 weeks ago, it was just me and Kyle. Mm-hmm. And towards the end of every show, it just gets back to like psychology.
Yeah.
And it's like that's where it's like that's where everything gets built from. From within.
Sheesh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I had my bottom hit, bro. One time, it was me, my brother, and one other guy. We're living in this house, 4-bedroom, pool with the slide, jacuzzi, 2 living rooms. It was nice, bro. We're living a good life. You know what I mean? But my homie, he was just too much. And I plan ahead a lot. That's what I do. So I told my brother, I was like, hey, bro, like, what's your plan for the next 3 months? 3 or 5 months? Like, I need to know. You know? Because if anything pops off, bro, I'm out of here. Like, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. And I just I packed my shit, put it in my car, and then I hit up my cousin. I was like, hey, bro, you want to bum it at the beach for me for, like a week or so? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So, bless him. But we went down to the beach, bro. I didn't have nowhere else to be. And so I remember, bro, I had a $20 bill in my wallet and then like $63 in my bank account. Whew. All right. And I was walking down Venice. We went from Malibu to Santa Monica.
I've taken that drive many
times,
bro.
Yeah. And it was like a 4-day trip. It was fucking dope. And I was walking by in Venice, and this guy was playing like guitar, and this other guy was like on the bongo, whatever. And that shit fucking hit me. You know what I mean? I was like, motherfucker, you deserve my last 20. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna give it to you, dog. Cause like,
dang.
that was it. And then I only had enough gas to go back home. I filled up my tank, $63 gone, and then went back up to Yucaipa, and I would sleep at the rest stop on the freeway.
Yeah.
And going towards Cal Mesa, I would sleep there, and then my mom, like, we had like a lifetime gym membership at Fitness 19, so I'll just go there, fucking work out, hit the gym, take a shower there,
Yeah.
and then be back in my car. But I told myself, I was like, I'm never going back.
Yeah.
To my parents. You know what I mean? And then, see, one of my sayings in life is like, things happen for you, not to you.
Yeah.
Right? So that's like, if anything happens, bro, you got to understand, like, there's some good that comes out of it. I see the glass half full. I don't see it half empty. You know what I mean? And so, bro, it was like 2.5 weeks, bro. And I was like, I'm tired of fucking sleeping in my car, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I almost budged. But then my brother, he got in a motorcycle accident. Right? He got fucked up. And my mom, like, she called me. She's like, hey, she didn't know I was homeless. Yeah. But she was like, hey, I need you to move back in with us to help your brother until he gets back on his feet. I was like, all right, Mom, I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for you, not for me. Yeah. And it took him like 3 or 4 months, and as soon as like he was back on his feet, bro, I was able to get another job, save up money, moved out to Redlands, got an apartment and all this stuff. And it's like, I am willing to do that again just because I know I can fucking make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's my biggest quote is like, things happen for you, not to you, because it's a whole life.
That's the name of this episode now, man.
Things happen for you, not to you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because it reverts back to the radio. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to help people, so then this is God's like saying, hey, here you go. You're on the radio. Because truthfully, when I got my blood clots, bro, I was like, oh, this is fucked up. Like, I was gonna join the Marine Corps with my brother. Yeah. And then after that, if I couldn't do that, police academy, fire academy, something, like something physical, government, SWAT. I think it was all badass, you know what I mean? But God was like, look, this is after I was like trying to like talk to myself, like, things happen for you. And he's like, you're not supposed to just use your body. Like, you're good looking, you're a nice dude, like, you're smart. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna give you something to put you on the right path. Because if it was just like a bad leg, I still could have done like some government job. Yeah. So me having blood clots, bro, no one will take me. Like, I just don't qualify. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that was his way of saying like, hey, use your head, not your body. Right. You know what I mean? So he put me on the right path. And then he had fucking Mark come in, during my workout. Happens for you. That's what I'm saying, bro. And it's like, my sensei who died, I wanted to hit him on my show, bro. I was thinking about him. And like, when you have those moments where like, oh, you're like thinking about someone, and then like they call you or they text you and you're like, bro, I was just thinking about you. Yeah. It's like that same shit. And I was thinking about my sensei, and I was like, dude, I want him on my show. I want to talk to him, because he was one of the first outsiders to ever go to the like the Shaolin like temples over in like China and stuff, Oh, wow. And that's where he got his 10th degree black belt. That's where they honored him. And so I was like, I want him on my show. And I was procrastinating, bro. I waited like 2-3 weeks, and then he got COVID and he died. Never got to talk to him. I was like, fuck, bro. That sucks. Damn. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he was cool, because like when I joined like Kenpo, which is like a Japanese art. Yeah. He was like, look, if you want to learn MMA and beat people up, I'll fucking give you the dummy out there and you just beat the fuck out of them out in the parking lot. Do what you gotta do. I can teach you how to hurt people. Yeah. But his class is learning traditionally what martial arts is about, where it came from, like the mind, the body of all of it. And I was like, all right, I'll follow you. I'll go your path. And he's the one that told me about my blood clots. He's like, look, bro, you still got a face. He's like, it's a gift, not a curse. I was like, I guess you're right. You know what I mean? So that kind of helped me build up to where I am today, But what's crazy though? Like you watch a bunch of movies or you meet people who are like, they went from nothing to all of a sudden they made it to the very top. It's like, okay, how the fuck how did you get there? Yeah. And then like Scarface, like he just, just randomly just met someone who had a job, and next he just built himself up. Right. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I was cleaning this guy. He has a 6,000 square foot home. He was downsizing to a 3,000 square foot home. He lives up in Hidden Meadows, and he was a millionaire. And I was like, how'd you become so successful? Same shit, bro. I'm like, he went from nothing to all of a sudden just he got a phone call one day, and I was like, wait, but who called you? How did they call you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where did this phone call come from? You know?
Yeah.
And I finally picked it because my homie, this is when I was like 18, 19. Like, we used to like, you know, sell drugs and shit. I don't know if I'm not even allowed to say that.
You're good.
Okay,
You're
cool.
good. Yeah.
And like, we went from $20 to this fool making like 50 grand a week. Just fucking scaling high. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how'd you go from $20 to 50,000 a week? And he was like, bro, he made these connections. I was like, how'd you make those connections? Like, who did you talk to? You know, who brought you up, dog?
Yeah.
And all these movies and all these life experiences is just like, they just met someone.
Yeah.
Randomly. And I'm like, I'm waiting for that day to fucking happen, dog, you know?
It's gonna happen, man.
And maybe it already has. I just didn't fucking acknowledge it, you
Yeah.
know? So it's like, I got to keep my eyes peeled, you know? So,
Hey, man. Well, Sam Works.
yes, sir. Jake
It
Asai.
was a pleasure.
Appreciate you, brother. Hey, how long was this episode?
We're at 1 hour and 20 minutes.
All right, that's good timing.
Yeah. For those of you who want to follow him, go ahead and plug yourself, Sam Works.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Instagram, samworks856, or you can follow me on Instagram with my Whatever Works show. Just look up KCAA Whatever Works, and then just go from there. You can find me on all that.
This was Everyday Joes. That was Sam Works. I'm Jake Asai. And I'll see you next time.